Okay, welcome back, everyone, to the Hobart Aquatic Center for the fourth the fourth World Championships here. Thanks to the state government, Tourism Tasmania, and the Doon Aquatic Center, who've really brought the pool up to a scratch. And at the moment, I think we have New Zealand versus U.S. here, and I'm just confirming with Rami because it looked like we had the team list for another game, which was France and someone, but we'll get that list up there as soon as we can. But we have U.S., which is right, but we need to swap that other that one team. It is New Zealand who's playing the U.S. team, and we're just moments away from the start. It's 24 seconds.
It is possible to defend them.
Another lovely day in Hobart.
That was
the sun
number
is still
two,
out.
Simeon.
We started off with a bit of sea fog this morning, and the game is underway. And New Zealand straight away in white, playing U.S. in dark, and they're already peppering the U.S. Game, and the U.S. Currently are on the ladder here. The U.S. are way down in eighth place, with New Zealand as top of the ladder. So I guess what we're expecting here, New Zealand already getting awful close, but there was an advantage being played. The referees are confirming. Yes, we do have our first goal against New Zealand, and I'm looking at number 4, Dane and Kemp, who scored that goal right off the strike, dominating the play. New Zealand controlled the play, moved it in, and New Zealand has put the first blood in this game 3 of the day with under 23 men's division. Pretty close at the top with New Zealand and Turkey, followed by Colombia. And then we worked down the order. We got France, South Africa, Australia, surprisingly, in 6 silver medalists from last time, and followed by Great Britain in that game. 6 and 7 are going on at the same time, and we're calling this game New Zealand versus the U.S. And New Zealand have a stronger presence. They're already back in the U.S. is on the back foot, and they're making a strong assertive attack at the defense, and there's right on the goal mouth as the U.S. are trying to clear the puck, but the New Zealand numbers on the bottom, better position, and I think we'll find that the referees are confirming, yes, they are. We got Robbie in there signaling a goal, and he's checking out the numbers. Robbie's also telling them not to do what they did last time, and we'll get confirmation that. And Robbie is found a player, number 9 from the U.S., Tristan. And it looks like number 8 scored that goal for New Zealand, Ben Richards, and counterpart number 9, Tristan De Bruyne, has got a 1-minute penalty for an obstruction. That hurts when you get a goal scored against you and also got a sin bin, but that's the nature of our game. They were playing advantage as the New Zealand have won the strike and took in control, driving it down that left-hand corner, and they will then set up to drive their 45s into the goal tray, which they have. And New Zealand numbers, body position, asking the U.S. defense. These boys are very young. I think they're the youngest team in the competition, this U.S. team. And I know, spoken to the guys earlier, that they're really enjoying playing in every game, and every goal is just a new adventure to them. And they're going to get firsthand what it's like to play against a well-oiled machine in this New Zealand. And as the defender was looking at another New Zealand, and out of nowhere the New Zealand stole the puck off him and took it to the goal tray as the referees are signaling a infringement. And yes, they're conferring goal, and there we go. And they're both sitting. Number 3 is looking for that was my goal, and Luis Flaren. I think the referees will see. We'll get a confirmation. Yeah, and unfortunately, Lewis, I'm afraid that the deck has called number 6, Dylan Booth, with this goal. But you'll get another chance, I'm sure, as New Zealand have taken a 3-0 lead with only 4 minutes gone in this half, and very dominant performance as the U.S. start again, swim out, and quickly the New Zealand, all of them are on the line as they move their motion, and again the same sort of try, but this time they move it inside, look like to recycle it out to their wide defenders, and then try to attack through the middle. And here they come through the middle, and the defense of the U.S. need to cotton on the first time, and they shuffled across, but New Zealand changed it up and made their way through the middle. And the New Zealand again are trying to attack it, and it's interesting that New Zealand spent a lot of time a lot of time spending time together, playing together, and it really shows. They do a lot of drive as the New Zealanders have made an infringement and they've been asked to back up, and the U.S. will enjoy a clean possession of the puck for at least for the taking the puck, and the U.S. take it wide. And I know the U.S. are playing a bit of a channel game where they actually can control it a bit, but I can tell you a well-oiled New Zealand team is used to this sort of channel, and they enjoy that too. But they're very quick to move it out into their outlets and to expose it. The New Zealand team once again in the middle of things are making runs at the defenders, and the U.S. team, that lone defender back there, they're a bit slow recycling. They got to get that up as the other defender comes down in a weak position in this sort of situation. You got the New Zealand in a bit of stronger position who's trying to defend that player on things, and so we have another goal being awarded to New Zealand, and they're confirming on the number, and it's number 5 this time. Nick Hudson has put, I believe, his second of the game as they take a commanding lead, and that's sort of a 5-0, but 4-0. Sorry, there's the scoreboard indicates 9:16 left in the half, as the New Zealand are demonstrating why they're top of the ladder team, popping in goals, and the U.S. team has to soon take a break to regroup themselves and see what they can do about this game. So the New Zealand's swimming out, and you can see those nage fins in almost in unison there. A lot of their quick players use those because they do generate a lot of power off the mark. The top end speed, they get up there very quickly, and that's very consistent, and they get their high revolution on those fins, nages, and drive it in as the New Zealand team once again surround the goal tray. And you can see that player sitting on the goal tray waiting for the puck to be slid to him, shuffled to him, pointed to him, so he can then just slightly put it in the tray. But we have a stick infringement against the U.S. They're being asked to back up and guard their goal, and the New Zealand will set a play up as they shuffle the players around to have a set play. The New Zealand's are quite good, as you see I think it was number 2 or number 4, Dylan Kemp, go into the goal tray, and they'll try to feed it into him, so all he has to do is turn and slide it in the tray. As the defense holds on the first onslaught, but I think it's an avail, and it looks like Robbie's calling something on this end of the play. But I think there might have been playing an advantage. I have one player. We have a goal. No, the referees are conferring on that. And he did see Hamish, number 2, in the goal tray, but I don't think anything came about that. But we'll see what the referees confer on this one, to whether it was a goal or whether it was an infringement made, and it was made. I do a shout out to the New Zealand crowd, but I can tell you that the stands are full with them here. But if anyone's watching, I hope you're enjoying this live stream. Remember, it's free, and we got the referees that finally come to a decision, and it is a goal scored. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing who the numbers, but the bench over on the side is usually in great contact with our scientific switcher here. She's on control of the game once again. Rami here in the booth, an Australian player and Tasmanian player. The bench is in. Number 5, Nick Hudson scored the goal as the New Zealand team are ready to start and swim up. Not relentless. They're out there. The same players move. The puck is moved to the side. Flick deep this time. It's the first time I've seen him flick it to an opposition player rather than to his own teammate. I think Coach and Matt Hart will actually have a bit of a conversation with him about that one, because I don't think that was in the playbook. But they're back in. The U.S. have come out a bit strong, but those places are open. A good defense by the U.S., but once again, the New Zealand numbers are overwhelming the U.S. back line as 4 New Zealand players swim to the goal tray, and it's put him in the tray on the second roll around. The first U.S. defense, probably number 3 Decker or number 2 Nathan there, were trying to defend that first initial play. No, it was Lee Drinkwater, number 10, defended the first play, but a second wave came in, and fortunately this time the referees saw something the New Zealand did, and they're being asked to move back. It was a no goal on that, and the score stands at 5-0 as we got 6 minutes left to go in the first half. The play the play has been moved. The play is moved to the far left-hand side of the pool, and New Zealand are trying to defend, but the U.S. are looking for opportunities to break with the New Zealand bring it out wide. The U.S. defender has been swum off the puck as number 13. No, it's not number 13 because there's no number 13, but it is probably number 12. Oh, no, it is number 13, Clark Samuels, who made that switch to link up with his forwards after that wide switch in the New Zealand over top, as looks like it was moved in as they isolated that square back line of the U.S. as a goal's been put in. The referees confirm, and it looks like we have number 8, I believe, Ben Richards. Do we have number 8? Yeah, it is number 8. Ben Richards scored. That's confirmation from the scoring booth, who are doing an excellent job out there, and they're relaying their messages into Romy. As we see the New Zealand bench, and it looks like the U.S. have called a timeout. And I'm sure the coach will get in there, Ian Curtin will get in there and have a chat to his boys and say, guys, we're breaking down our game plan. We need to get livelihood in this thing. And as we can see, the vice captain for New Zealand, number 2, Hamish Arthur, is actually providing his players that are surrounding him. Number 9, Ben Liam Richards. Number 4, Dylan McCamp. With number 3, Lewis Farham out there. And number 5 is with him, Nick Hudson, who is a goal scorer. No, Ben Richards was a scorer. He's deserved a nice break. And they're lining up for the next things. As you can see, the New Zealand spouting their lovely black and white snorkels, which is very much a tradition of all the players in that. And we got 6 seconds to go before the game recommences. And the New Zealanders are focused on this. Number 7, Scott Knowles, playing in that deep position. And Matt Hart here holding his breath. He's even holding his nose this time. Matt having a bit of equalization problems with the water there, Matt. Spouting his lovely wetsuit top and his lovely sport shorts that are keeping us all in the booth very amused. As the New Zealand straight away pushed the puck back into the U.S. corner. And New Zealand turned around and a quick chip into the goal tray. Unfortunately, it was knocked down and re-loosed back, but I think the referee saw the initial one that went straight into the tray, and they're calling the goal for New Zealand. Unsure who scored that goal. And number 9, Liam Robinson, gets his first goal of the game as the U.S. continue their domination in this game with open up the lead to 7 with 4 minutes to go in this first half. We're about ready to start after seeing the goal by Liam Robinson. He's had a number of caps for New Zealand as the game, and once again, New Zealand beat the U.S. to it. I think the U.S. have given the puck the strike to New Zealand because they are very quick. As that being said, looks like the New Zealand has made an infringement. Looks like a bit of a arm stop by the New Zealand, and they're being asked to back up. And the U.S. will once again have a free puck, enjoy some moments with the puck, and try to keep their possession so they actually amount something with 3 minutes 20 seconds to go. But they're moving it over to their central channel. Number 7, Edgar Ekin, has gone back there, and number 9, Tristan Dubunker, is sitting there supporting his players. But New Zealand has stolen the puck and making a straight space into the gap where the defense was, as the U.S. try to recycle back in defense. But as we can see, the New Zealand are opening them up, draw their players in, and it's a lovely 3-on-2-on-1. Pazay drew the player on a lovely play by number 12, Nick Healy, drew the lone defender sitting there, number 1, Samuel Martez. He was caught by himself, and he chose to cover the middle section, and it looks like Nick Healy, number 12, put that goal in the tray. Yes, and the 8th goal was confirmed, scored by Nick Healy. with a lovely play and well set up by his teammates by drawing the U.S. defenders out of the play and into the back. The New Zealand once again win the strike out there quickly, and this time they're moving it to the right-hand side, which they've been favoring this left side, but quickly they've moved it over to the left. They must have a predetermined number they want to each side, or see what the opposition does in their defense and try to capitalize on these weaknesses. And they seem to be taking the U.S. team defense and finding all those gaps and ensuring that they push them back into the defensive zone. New Zealand are moving it out into the area. The center challenge has a nice underbody pass, but unfortunately he passed that without looking, a bit careless of him, and he's giving it straight to number 7, Igor Atkins, who swum it into defensive corner, and number 4 rotates in Michael Hitton. But the New Zealander made a lovely swerve around him, or a jinx in South Africa, and he moved it into the trace. And it looks like another goal has been popped in. We have confirmation by one referee, 2 referees, and a goal scored by a lovely draw. And I think that is a number 2, Hamish Arthur, who might have scored that goal. But again, we'll wait for confirmation. Yeah, I'm glad we get that confirmation, because it was by number 3, Lewis Birchue, scored that goal. And again, well set up by the New Zealand player who stole the puck from the defense, did a lovely swerve around, put it in that middle channel, opened up and exposed the back line, and it was popped in for that play. As the New Zealand stretch out onto things, and thanks, Sean, for the lovely chocolate passing it on. I'll take a moment breath, maybe at halftime, and be able to have something. And again, we have New Zealand get opportunity for a free puck, and the U.S. team's been asked to back again. And as we're entering the last few seconds of the first half, and New Zealand have a commanding lead and a dominant demonstration of the game. I must say that probably out of the 50 minutes of this half, we've probably played 14 minutes and 30 seconds in the U.S. defending side. But once again, this is a very young U.S. team who are in a building year, and as we know, the New Zealanders have a strong junior comp as they looks like maybe the 10th goal has been put in, but unfortunately the referees will have to confirm whether they hit the buzzer or whether or not that goal will count. But as I was saying, the New Zealand have because they can bring an experienced, developed team to this to these competitions, is because they do have they have 60 school teams of various ages, and the referees have confirmed that yes, they'll accept the time as a goal. So that was 10th goal. And it was put in by number 8, Ben Richards. So he'll be credited with that last-second goal put on the things, as the New Zealanders will take some breather and regroup themselves, as Coach Matt Hardy's in there having a few words to the boys, and they'll suck in some air and suck in the juice. Where at the other end, Ian Curtin will have to regroup his team to sort of start the second half, 10-0 down. And I assume at this time the U.S. team is here learning, and they'll set some second half goals, and it's about the coach to, ladies and gentlemen, just to, I hope you're enjoying this free live streaming to you. So far, we have 276 days and 6 hours of free footage on the web on YouTube for you to watch. That's 3,978 minutes of time and videos watched. So far, we have 50,000 views, and so far, it's $2,660 raised. We want that $10,000 mark, folks. So if that 50,000 people out there watching things, throw in 20 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, $1. If everyone put $1 in there, we'd have 50,000. This will then go to hockey, to sport hockey at places. So once again, please go to our site and put it in. And we got a few shouts in here from Allison Ford, who's back in New Zealand, I should. Let's go, Nick Houston. Come on, NZ. Yes, they're a commanding lead here, 10-0. Pretty sure that strike is in their in their playbook. And you're right there, Alistair. I've seen it a number of times. It is a playbook strike. It goes out to the side, a tic-tac move back and forth, a quick flick here and a quick flick there. And again, this is good exercise and demonstration that a lot of these experienced teams can demonstrate. And I'm sure the U.S. will go online and download from the chat and make sure it happens. And yes, Jeremy, I'm sure the boys won't let up. I haven't seen New Zealand in any in these commanding leads, 10-0. Haven't let up. So I suspect the coach, Matt, has said to them, boys, it's 0-0 at this point, and it's time to reestablish our dominance. And let's see if the U.S. through Samuel, Nathan, Decker, Michael, Shin, Igor, and Omar, and Tristan, and Lee, and Ray, with Coach Ian there, will actually make sure that they have set their goals. They're refocused as we got 20 seconds left to go before this thing. And I might have a quick break, and we'll be back to you, and I'll have a quick drink and see how we're going. And the game's back underway, and once again we see the New Zealand win the strike, and it gets congested in the middle this time, and the U.S. didn't allow them the clear push, but New Zealand moving out deep, asking the U.S. team to come in and display, but a nice pass being pushed off to Lewis Farrell. I didn't catch the number, but I'm sure it was Dylan Kemp. I'm not 100% sure, but move at the puck, and the New Zealanders are trying to attack the this close corner, and the New Zealand, the Americans are starting off strong with a lovely drive down by the wing by Decker Owen, but unfortunately the referee saw something prior to that, and I'm afraid Decker, his drive is being called back and annulled when we'll give a free puck to the New Zealanders deep in the U.S. attack, the U.S. defensive zone, and as he swims back, dejected from that, he's got to line up quickly and sort himself out with the rest of his team as New Zealand set up for a typical move, and we can see just parts of that because it's underneath the U.S. Bench. New Zealand gain possession and try to pick it back, but I'm seeing some play being called up by the referee in the back, and he's pointing to one of the players that might have been a bit of a stick infringement, so he reached underneath the New Zealand player to get that puck, and unfortunately hit a U.S. arm, and now we're pushing back. And the play's resumed, and the U.S. have taken control after that New Zealand free puck. And number one, Samuel Martinez is trying to get it up to his player, number 6, Shen Zinzu. But I think Shen was a bit too far away as Agar, number 7, feeds it up to number 6. Shen, this time they're a bit closer together, and they're making a conservative drive, but the New Zealanders' defense, he caught napping there. The New Zealander got that puck stolen away, and I'm sure Coach Matt won't be too happy with that because it was a really a lazy effort on his behalf, uncharacteristic by the New Zealand team, but it looks like he snapped back into play, and support by the vice captain, number 12, Nick Healy, has sort of had a quick chat to him, and he's got his focus back, and the play's been stopped again with a bit of a glove interference happening, and so forth, as the U.S. team is being asked to push back, and it's going to be a New Zealand free in their end, and U.S. Spread out looking for a defensive, but the New Zealand have decided to move it quickly to the other side of the pool, asking the U.S. team to actually swim and catch them, as he's made a deep run into the left-hand side and taking it already into the U.S. Defensive end. And it's interesting to see how the New Zealand, took the time, thought about it, and said, hey, everyone's over here. Let's spread them out and see if we can open up an opportunity. It's very attacking, and straight away got the U.S. on the other side, but they actually then cross it back through the middle of the play. Very strategic move and very characteristics of a New Zealander. First effort, but here comes the third. But unfortunately, I think we have a play being called. We have people being pointed at too, and I'm not sure who he's pointing at. Yeah, Robbie's given a warning to number 7, Scott Knowles, for use of the elbow, trying to gain better positioning on that. I mean, he's elbowed one of the American players, and Robbie was right on the play. But looks like the referees have changed their minds, and obviously the Canadian referee has was first call on that. So the advantage is to New Zealand, who have set up a play for a free puck, quick to set it up, rotate it around, and they're going to drive it straight into the U.S. defense, who are waiting for them in their goal tray, hopefully to repel the attack. And New Zealand are of big stuff. I have a signal from one referee. There's a goal. A lovely set play by the New Zealanders, free puck, something that the younger team of the U.S. will take home from them and actually learn from it. As the captain Samuel is having a chat to the referees to remind the referees to see what's going on, and he's not happy with some of the moves they use, but I'm sure Robbie's there explaining to him that that's legal when the puck's still on the bat. As Dylan Kemp, number 4 from New Zealand, gets the first goal in this half to take 11-0 lead of the under-23 men. And the game's back underway as the U.S. stream out there, but New Zealand once again win the strike and trying to drive it through the middle in some sort of a spearhead attack with it. You can see the watching New Zealand people picking up the crumbs as he does that. He chips it forward to his waiting player, and he tries to rotate over top, and they're all down to the sub. And the New Zealand has reached for the puck, outswum the defender, and tripped it into play, and it looks like number 13 or number 2, Hamish McBride, or number 3, Clark Samuel, and they're giving it to number 2, Hamish Arthur, for that 12th goal of New Zealand. And I don't think the U.S. Defensive line had any chance on that. They spearheaded it. The first effort, they recycled it out wide, and they attacked, and they brought down the numbers, and unfortunately the U.S. defense had no answer for that as they streamed into the goal. Not sure what the delay is in starting the game, but it's been restarted because they've been pretty quick in enjoying starting these games really quickly. The referees, that obviously there must have been some sort of conversation going on, but the New Zealand won the strike, recycled it back, brought it back deep. That was to draw the U.S. defense in, and then attack it down wide, which they are, and they're now deep. And a good steal by the U.S. player, but unfortunately, I think we might have had an infringement by the player who did that. But the referees are right there on the play, so they see what's going on. And we have a conversation, whoever does it. It is against the U.S., so it was saying that he did something wrong. It might have been a body stop or something, and he tried to dive it out. As the U.S. again are being asked to defend. And as a result of that, the player has been sent out for a penalty, and the U.S. will be playing shorthanded for, I think, 1 minute, as Rami's giving me the thumbs up and the nod there as she's in constant contact to the score booth. And not only that, but she's switching around. I just get the privilege of nattering on, but she's got about 5 things going at once, and that's because Rami's an expert at it, and I'm just a good talker. And we got a call here by the referees as the New Zealander number 3, Lewis Hamish, used his free arm, waved it in front of an American player, and caused him to hit him with it. And he didn't do it deliberately, but it was accidental. But he's being asked to sit on the bench. So teams are back to strength, even strength, 5 each, as the U.S. try to move the puck to the far side. Try to pass it up to his middleman to run the channel, but the New Zealand were quick to pounce on it and counterattack straight away, and it's going deep into that U.S. left-hand corner, and they brought it back straight into the goal tray. And I believe it will wait for the referee's confirmation, but we have 2, 3, all goals. New Zealand have taken that goal, and I think it's a number 5, Nick Hudson, but we'll wait once again for confirmation to take the play. And unfortunately, with 5-on-5. No, it's number 4, Dane Kemp. I was mixed, and the U.S. call a timeout with a score line of 13-0 with 6 minutes and 34 seconds left to go. I'm sure that the coach will go in there and try to reassure his boys, Ian Curtin there, and he's sort of having conversations, say, boys, come on, let's regroup. We're a player down, and guys are playing okay, but they're just playing against a well-slicked, disciplined team in New Zealand under Matt Hart's leadership, and as I said before, they have a strong junior competition throughout the things, and we're wondering what the Americans can do to this. But I think, boys, this game is almost out of reach with 13-0, and it will have time to regroup, think about it, watch the tapes, and get ready for the next game. However, we still have 6 minutes left, boys. Let's try to regroup and get something here. So they're ready, and they're off and going, and they're driving to it. A lot of these American swimmers, they come from the swimming background through the ranks, and just new to underwater hockey. As we see, the New Zealand won the strike again and put it into that prime position as they do a bit of a drop pass and a bit of a shovel of it. And New Zealand regained the pressures as the Americans try to clear it with through number 4, Michael Hilton, doing a strong defending move. But the New Zealanders were quick to grab that puck and swim out of the corner and try to recycle it back through the 45 channel where they have a bit more open opportunity. And they're moving it to the tray. And, yes, I think unfortunately for the U.S., they'll see another goal go in. But, no, we see the referees indicating I see a gloving by the New Zealand player. He did a move under the body. And, unfortunately, this time the referee's being right there. Saw the player, and I'm sure that was number 4, Daniel Camp, who moved the puck in the wrong way, and the referees called it, and they have to move back with the U.S. taking control of the puck, and they've moved it straight over to their channel where they feel comfortable is. But the New Zealand haven't let them get there, and they're trying to pressure into the goal, but it's right on the goal tray. And the referees, once again, are signaling stop as play, and obviously something the New Zealand did, gloving again. They moved back, and be interesting to see if there's any warnings handing out here. No, there's no warnings. It was all accidental. He didn't do it deliberately. It's just a bouncy puck down here on the Aquatic Center. I must say the Aquatic Center is looking good after the night clean, and thank you again for the staff here at the Aquatic Center who have been nothing but extremely helpful, cleaning the vacuum cleaner in all night and clearing up the pool. And as you can see, the vision is actually wonderful with all the different angles we get. There's very limited dead spots in the court. There's one just in front of the bench, but you can't get the cameras too close to the bench because all the players jump around and scream. As the New Zealand make another drive towards the pool, and again, they do it in numbers. They're not letting up. There's 5 players. There was one player on the surface that happened to be Scott Knowles, who's the deep defender, or the goalie as some of the players' team, but the remaining 5 players in the team were all on the bottom of the pool, all supporting each other in the goal, and that's just a pure example of New Zealand's discipline in how they play. And number 2, Hamish Arthur, was been awarded with that goal with 4 minutes and 8 seconds to go left in this game. We have a 14-0 game for the New Zealand over the U.S. Under-23 men in the 4th Age World Championships. And a big shout-out to our major sponsors again, the Vertex, who provided all the referees' uniforms and some of the caps for everything. We also have Wing & Co. here providing all us volunteer people here who are organizing the booths in here with some food as the New Zealanders make another attempt with a lovely flick. It looked like number 8, Ben Richards, who flicked it in. No, excuse me, that was number 5, Nick Hudson, who flicked that puck into the tray, who scored their 15th goal. And I think they're all sharing the goals around, but they're unsure who scored that goal. But it looked like number 5, Nick Hudson, who flicked that goal off the back wall, a bit of a ricochet back into the tray. And again, it's hard to see who scored that goal because 5 New Zealand players were down there, all in support of each other, and that's really a good, strong thing about New Zealand hockey. They're very supportive of it. It's a true testament about the New Zealand hockey supporting each other. Wing & Co., as I was trying to say, provided us with lovely food. Poco people made all the logos and the designs. The actual design of the logo was by Lee Marie Stinson, who drew the logo, came up with the concept, and Poco people put a finishing touch on it. We got Najee Fins, as I mentioned earlier. 6AA Omar up on the top there in the little village of shops is still selling his gear, and it's a lovely gear. And I think you'll find most of the Colombian teams are all wearing their gold stuff. Great was, and we also got Shark underwater hockey equipment up there with Sergio. He's also refereeing. He's got some great gloves going on there, and I think some of the merchandise people are up there looking for things. But as the New Zealanders scores, and it looks like a goal. The referees they're calling a goal. Number 7 from the U.S. team, Agar, is getting a bit frustrated because he believed it was gloving. However, the referee, Agar, are sitting right there. He's sporting a bit of a growing beard there, and maybe start challenging the Canadian referee, the coach. But the Agar is trying to explain his point of view. But I can tell you, mate, you're wasting your time. The referees have different angles, different eyes. They see what they have. They're making the calls. They're the people who are making the decision, my friend. You can argue all you like. I'm sure Robbie will hear you, but he sees what he says and he sticks to what he calls. As the New Zealand out there winning the psych on their set move out to the left-hand side, and they're moving it in their standard formation, and they're going to attack the outside, or they're going to come back through the middle as they attack firstly the outside and then come back through the middle. We're seeing, once again, dominant display by the top-of-the-table team in the 23s. It'll be a very interesting game when the top two teams, which are New Zealand, Turkey, the only reason New Zealand's on top because the goal average is a bit better, as a play has been called up before the New Zealand were able to score. And I can see number 4, Michael Hitton, the vice-captain, is actually signaling them, and it is against the New Zealand. There seems a bit of frustration happening in the U.S. team, but I'm sure Coach Ian is sort of saying, settle down, boys. Let's just keep our game plan for the last couple of seconds left in this game with 1 minute to go. I'm looking forward to that top-of-the-table clash later this afternoon, New Zealand versus Turkey. And we'll see all this practice that they're having. And we've got a lovely break. Now we're chasing. The New Zealand have taken it deep in their defense in an attempt to draw in the U.S. player, which they've done, and they passed it on. Number 12, Ray Anton's doing a lovely chase to try to cut that player off. He did cut the angle off, but he actually pulled himself into position, and it allowed the New Zealand, as the U.S. team are trying to pressure them. But unfortunately, all that attacking has drawn a foul, and the New Zealand team is setting up for the free puck. But as we draw with 15 seconds, 42 seconds remaining in this in the game. New Zealand take a free puck and just bring it up to the waiting defensive line, draw them in, and try to feed it through some of the gaps, which the U.S. team has a number of them because they're not too tight. They need to tighten that up for their next games. And we see the New Zealand win the puck, and we have 5 New Zealand swimming into the goal tray. And I'm betting that was number 11, Joel Samuels, who scored that goal. But I'll wait for confirmation. But, yes, I was wrong. It looked like number 12 or number 13 was the signal. But the expert in the booth here, Rami, will get the call from the bench. But she's picking number 12, Nick Healy. And that's 3 seconds left in the go, and the New Zealand and the U.S. have conceded as New Zealand win this game 17-0 over the U.S. And it was number 13, Clark Samuel, put in the 17th goal as the game ends. And the young Australia, U.S. team will take a lot from that game as they go and congratulate us and that. And I think I'll try to go on the deck and see if we can get anyone on that. But in 2-2 in the game in Great Britain versus Aussie game in the other court, switch over to the second channel and watch the end of this. And I'll try to catch some of the boys on the deck and see if they have any words about the game. God, the camera's over there. So I'm on deck. No, you come on over here. Yeah, thank you for joining me on that. Gee, that was probably a hard match for you guys, playing the number one team ranked so far in the competition. What was your goal for the game today?
Today was just try to work together. We enjoy watching them. They're a really great team, and it's really a pleasure to play them for sure.
I started looking at some of the stats. You have quite a young team. Is that something you're building towards, so you can build each game you're doing in each comp?
Yeah, each time we're growing with each other, it's fun to see that everyone's pulling it together for once, and slowly we're building. We're getting there.
Yeah, and as you said, well-disciplined, experienced team you played against. Was there anything at halftime the coach has been telling you?
Just to stick down there. They're the tough team to beat. We just have to stay together, do what we can do, and build from there.
Yeah, I called that game, and I enjoyed watching it because I saw you guys doing a lot of combinations and linking up well. I think it's just a matter of getting those together and recycling. But I mean, it's a hard when they got set plays and they work together. How often do you guys get together as a team to play together back in the U.S.?
We do as often as we can, and for sure we can tell watching them that they're a really great team, and hopefully someday we can mirror it for sure.
Yeah, okay. And any messages for the folks back home who will probably be watching this later tonight?
Love you, family, friends. Thanks for supporting and having fun out here.
Yeah, sorry about the loss, but good luck with the games remaining in today, and thank you for joining us down here.
Yep, thank you so much.
Okay, cheers. Look, hopefully we'll catch one of the New Zealand team, but they're sitting here watching the outcome of the game right in front of me in court one, where I think we're still tied up at 2-all with not long to go in this game, and it looks like about 14 seconds for a pretty set play right in front of goal by the Australians. The New Zealanders are all watching eagerly on the other side of the pool, and if you're watching live on the other channel, we're seeing that something wrong with a puck.